Well, the question is, were you surprised when El-Rufai now served notice that he had resigned with immediate effect, as a matter of fact, from the ruling party, and that he was making his way to SDP? Were you surprised about that?
Well, I think before the official statement of Malam El-Rufai, there have been some news about some of this happening. Is he going to move to another party or not? Of course, why some people maybe like in Kaduna State, Malam Shehu Sani said Malam El-Rufai is no longer consequential in politics in Kaduna State. But I tend to differ a bit because someone who has been an ex-governor of a state and a brilliant person for that matter, of course, there are a lot of issues around his personality and the way he sees things, which is obviously normal. We will all be different. But I still think he carries the weight. However, if you look at the judgment or the recent judgment of the Supreme Court, the latest in the land, you want to ask, do we even have to take this seriously, that someone has joined a party when the highest court of the land has said, until we actually see the register of the new party you've joined, until we've seen your certificate, your ID card of that new party, that you have not left the party that you belong.
Indeed.
Now, yeah. So the question is this: for some of us who were critical about some of the developments in our democracy, we were concerned about some of the pronouncements we've seen, and this is the implication. People argue, people make noise about we're trying to run a single-party state in Nigeria, and that's what the judgment of the Supreme Court did. They may not know it by extension, because obviously, people talk about party register. I'm not sure a lot of Nigerians are aware. These are not registered from INEC. They like in the Boot Party. We created our register. If I want to be funny, someone joined our party, I can as well say, no, he hasn't joined. And even if the name is there, I can say that if you Google search now, there are a lot of Sunday Adenuga. So how are you going to know? Where are you going to stop? So the question is this: do we actually know if it's truly Malam El-Rufai that have actually come to join SDP? It might sound comical, but the fact of the matter is that all these things, they all weigh down, they all have impact. And obviously, many people will be sharing this news. They're looking forward to those vibrancy of the then APC that merged from CPC and I think it was ACN then, the level of vibrancy. But we should also not forget, I wrote an article I think at the beginning of this year when the former vice president made a strong allegation against leaders of opposition parties that they are collecting money, And the question is, if you look into our constitution, there's no clear role. It's not clear cut, It's an assumption thing. Our democracy is developing, but I wish those currently in the National Assembly, they should start thinking about how they're going to make the role of opposition solid and strong. I mean, I can tell you this: in any world, to win election in countries as big as Nigeria, you're talking a huge amount of resources, not even just money. We're talking of human capital, a lot of money going to be involved. And we talk about our own country where a lot of people are still below poverty line. How many people will contribute to political development? And that's why it seems everything gravitates towards money. Everything gravitates around, who is the big guy out there that can give out some money for political development? Sometimes people think that some of this money, I was talking with someone recently, and I just posed the question, what do you think some of this money are used for? Many people thought that some of this money are used to bribe people. It's a lie. In fact, I can tell you, even most of the money APC, PDP, both parties spend in electioneering, less than 1% of those money is going to go to bribing anyone, for that matter. It's going to go towards development of the party, making your message heard at every nook and cranny of the country. As a candidate standing for election, it's not likely possible, unless maybe at a local government you're running for councillor, you can say, okay, you can walk through all the streets of your constituency. But when you talk about elections at state level, even at chairmanship level, and also at national level, it becomes almost practically impossible for you to be able to reach everybody. But someone needs to carry that message to the people. And in doing so, you need the right vehicle, which is obviously money. And also great guys who are, when you give them 10 naira, through the effort they are going to put in, you will think like you have given 100,000 naira. So these are the key issues. But I'm not going to dismiss the influence of Malam El-Rufai that so soon that it can make an impact. I think it will be interesting to see how all of this is going to unfold as time goes on. And I think, yeah, Nigerians, we should hope to see a very vibrant opposition in a few times. I think also he's going to be having a lot of weight on his shoulder now. People know his antecedent and what we can see from this, from that side. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Sonny, because as you say, Nasir El-Rufai, you know, he's a politician of no mean stature. He's worked for the APC. The relationship, his relationship with the APC, I don't know, to the extent that the engagement, well, it's not quite an engagement, but remember that there was a time when he was rallying against his own, you know, the concept of Baba Soipe in Lagos, remember? And he had said that you people should throw it off. And if you don't know how, he was speaking to a Lagos audience, you know, you people should throw it off. And if you don't know how, you know, I can always show it to you. That wasn't very, very friendly. But then after that, the fences, if indeed they were affected, seem to have been mended because he did work for APC. Arguably, there are those who say that even the whole matter of President Tinubu securing the election, El-Rufai's part cannot be, you know, diminished. You know, it's all in there. But what is the reason for this? He said, among other things, that he feels the party has departed from, you know, the roadmap that it had set that might have been interesting to him. Now he doesn't think so anymore. But the question is it the SDP that you would then go into and hope to make an impact? Already, I think people from the ruling party, some of them have been saying that it's not really a big deal. We don't expect that it'll make very much of a difference. So there is all of that going on. What do you think about those who are saying immediately that the man has signed himself into political oblivion?
I beg to differ, because when you look at the Malam El-Rufai's personality, it's not someone that you're just going to easily dismiss. He has his horror. You don't have to like him. I'm not one of his fans, but we just have to put things the way it is. So and of course, what do you expect the ruling party to say? They're going to say yes, all of those things they are saying. That it doesn't matter, it's not that important. But like you rightly said, Opiori, we all saw and how much he did for the emergence of the president, how much he did during that 2023 electioneering time. And of course, let's not take it for granted. It will have been a very, very difficult moment for Malam El-Rufai to make that decision. And for all of us who care first about our democracy, we should not think this is a good thing for all of us in terms of our democracy, because a situation whereby an individual who has made effort to have been able to help a government to power, and today is Malam El-Rufai that we're seeing, but what about how many other people probably who have done the same for party development at the APC level and who have maybe for whatever reason, their voice are no longer heard, they are angry over issues. That, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean they are right. But it shows also that it could be lack of effort on the part of the ruling party to make sure that they put everybody within the same fold. So obviously, the presidency, the APC, what they are saying is what they're supposed to say. And when someone is saying what he's supposed to say, there's no point arguing with them. But clearly, Malam El-Rufai is going to be able to make some level of impact in the opposition. I come from that level of optimism. But however, it depends on how far is far. So that's debatable, because now clearly you have the PDP. I can tell you for a given, the former vice president is still going to run in 2027, you like it or not. And also there are a lot of people who are out there also who are looking for the office, the biggest office of the land. And so obviously it's looking more clearly that the opposition is being divided. And that comes to what I said then, when the vice president actually alleged that this is the opposition are going to collect money. I don't think he has shown very great leadership there, because even if that's what's happening, that statement is not to his advantage, because the opposition will be looking at themselves in different, being suspicious of one another, rather than being a fatherly figure and bring everybody in, irrespective of what you even know. Sometimes as a leader, it's not courageous to say everything you know. That's not the way to lead. You sometimes have to keep some things to yourself, no matter how you think is hot or you think people needs to know. I'm not trying to advocate that you should hide things from people, but there is always appropriate time to say one thing or the other. So whatever you say, it could backfire, because you will want to think that all the big weights in Nigerian politics, they want to gather together in a single political party. And of course, I think there should be a lesson in the past. We could borrow a lesson from the past. If you look at how APC got to power, it is not just about individuals merging or coming together. Instead, it was at the party level. And that's very critical, because at the party level, every party make effort to bring their structure close to the table and even form a very big alliance. And that makes it easily workable, because one of the biggest problems we have, and it goes in Nigeria, it goes beyond just the political class. It's the political class we see. You try to sign agreement with anybody in Nigeria today about even job or anything, and I have observed people don't read it. They don't pay attention. By the time you now want to question that, look, I want to enforce what is in this agreement, they now start picking issues. And that's the problem. So it comes all the way from the bottom to the top. So usually people become so suspicious of one another. So it works better, in my view, to be done at the party level than at individual level. But of course, this is the beginning of what's going to be happening towards 2027. I think it's a warning for the APC. They shouldn't think it's already real for them, and that they are going to have find it very easy into 2027. It's going to be actually very tough. Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking as opposition yourself, because technically, if you're not ruling party, then you're opposition. You might align with a lot of the ideas and all of that, but, I just wanted to make that point that the opposition is quite diverse, and from time to time, you find opposition people actually speaking in support in particular aspects of the ruling party without giving them a total cover. There still will be plenty that the opposition might say differs with the ruling party on. But this whole matter about our caption, yes, El-Rufai, has moved to the SDP, but can he really hope to galvanize the opposition? Does he have that clout? This is not to diminish his stature in any way, shape, or form, but does he really have that political clout to galvanize opposition?
Well, I think from without letting out so much, but from the little I know, I think this is at the infancy A lot is happening at the background. A lot of political parties, leaders are talking together. And that is very necessary. I mean, it's healthy for political development anywhere in the world. And especially in our own country, where everybody knows that, look, you need the resources. And first and foremost, part of that resources is the credible people you can have works together in the room, and you're sure they're going to go ahead and carry out what has been agreed, not people who are not just, who are only there for their immediate benefit and immediate means. So obviously, there is no single individual. For Mr. President, as an example, there's no single individual, I mean, if I can say that can actually on his own achieve all of this. You have to have been doing it for a very long time. If you look at Mr. President, he's been there for a long time, since even before, as far back as during the June 12th time, and he's been connecting with a lot of people all over the country and even beyond Nigeria. And that's very clear. So obviously, what probably Malam El-Rufai started today, it might not necessarily mean that, it's going to come to a great benefit in 2027, as many people are implying. But who says it cannot? It depends on how much people are able to govern. Because when you look at the PDP, they have done a terrible job as opposition. I'm sorry to say, I find it difficult to criticize some of the parties, but especially the parties that are not in government. But the PDP has done a terrible job. I will give you an example. The president, when he was campaigning, he was in Abeokuta and said, I'm a Bewale. That is referring to the price of fuel at that time. And this same person became president, and right from day one, the price of fuel went all the way up, and nobody has made a serious issue about it in the PDP. And so you're going to question, what kind of opposition are they doing? There are a lot of things that one can criticize about the current government. But to be honest with you, the PDP are not doing their job. And of course, they expect the like of us who doesn't have the type of resources that they have and the influence they have in the National Assembly to be able to be the one doing some of their jobs for them. We can't do those jobs for them. And it just shows clearly they are not really ready for leadership, in my own opinion. So there's nothing wrong if other entities come together and step into their shoes and be able to give APC a lot of work to do come 2027.
Okay, this is interesting when you put it like